This is the immediate review.
Order placed. Order
A couple
placed.
things I want to say. I'm really frustrated with my performance today, not because I lost money. I blew the account, the Apex account.
Order
I did,
placed.
but it doesn't really mean anything to me, which is the worst part. And so
Order
the
cancelled.
fact that I'm not taking my life seriously in the way I should, and so rather than burning money, I'm burning
Order
something more
placed.
important, which is time. That's
Order
really,
placed.
really irritating. I'm chasing
Order
along
placed.
here at 1, Spoos is at
Order
4.
placed.
I catch this long. We get in the Shelling point. This is probably
Order
one of the best
placed.
trade areas of the day.
Order
I
cancelled.
set my stop break even. I scratch at 1. We're pushing into value here. Sellers defend zeros.
Order placed. Order placed. Order cancelled.
Market makers clear POC.
Order filled. Order placed. Order
I get
cancelled.
short 9 and immediately blown out.
Order placed. Order
It's a
cancelled.
rather poor
Order
trade.
placed. Order placed. Order
Spoos at value.
placed. Order
Ask
cancelled.
holding. Tape is
Order
slowing down.
placed.
I'm looking for a short.
Order placed.
She dumps
Order placed.
into the low volume
Order
node here.
placed.
I take another really fast loss. Playing the same reversion and not trading the flow, specifically momentum.
Order placed.
Tape
Order
slows down
cancelled.
here
Order
again. We're
cancelled.
out of the Shelling point. They throw it up again. You can hear me trying to trade mean reversion in my voice.
Order placed.
We're in the thicker part of the distribution now. There's a buy imbalance on Delta by a significant margin. Sellers finally step in temporarily.
Order placed. Order
I get
placed.
short here.
Order placed. Order cancelled.
I win that
Order
trade.
placed.
I was short 4.
Order cancelled. Order placed. Order
Chasing
placed.
momentum here
Order
back down to
placed.
value.
Order placed. Order cancelled.
I take a
Order
scratch.
filled. Order cancelled.
Aggression dries up.
Order placed. Order cancelled. Order cancelled. Order placed. Order placed. Order placed.
I'm long here, mean
Order
reversion.
cancelled.
At 5, I scratch. Tape is slow now. It's not
Order
necessarily
placed.
bad, especially for mean reversion. I
Order
enjoy it.
cancelled.
I try to get a short at 5, they don't fill me.
Order placed. Order cancelled. Order
Spoos
placed.
is offering higher.
Order placed. Order placed.
Still mean
Order
reversion at the
placed.
small node above POC. I get long, I scratch for break even.
Order placed. Order placed. Order placed. Order placed. Order cancelled.
I get short, I scratch at 4s.
Order placed.
Tape is playing that chicken game. I want you to make note of this so I can come back to it when I mention it again. Tape is playing that chicken game. We're in an HVN and neither the buyers nor the sellers want to facilitate trade at 4. The ask is 3 and the bid is 5. So I don't know what that means. Eventually, the askers step in.
Order placed. Order cancelled. Order placed. Order cancelled. Order cancelled. Order placed. Order placed.
I'm
Order
chasing a
placed.
breakout long here because I know
Order
she
cancelled.
runs more than the spoos. Probably because of algorithms and FIFO. You can comment on that if you want when I talk to you. Because the majority of the flow in NQs is algorithmic and less retail involvement, I think, because it's so fast, especially in the short term. If you can pull studies on that or any sort of information, go ahead and do that. I
Order
eventually
filled.
flip short 2s.
Order placed.
I'm also taking the opportunity to scratch at rounded numbers as this sort of like willy-nilly, oh, I can scratch anything. So I'm not really picking my spots very well, even though there's a tremendous amount of opportunity there, and I don't have the experience or a skill yet to trade the full distribution irrespective of the profile, and even the professionals trade the profile. So I'm really just taking it unseriously.
Order placed.
Um, and I could say, wait, and I think it's for me it's better if I undertrade because I overtrade all the time. But um, I just don't want to have those sessions where I only take two trades and make no money because I'm like, oh, that's not good enough. There's nuance in between it. The ask is
Order
holding, I'm short
cancelled.
too, which is
Order
what I
filled.
wanted. I get out for a break even and
Order
flip
placed.
again because they gave me an opportunity to scratch, so I take it and
Order
re-enter the
cancelled.
trade. Now the ask lifts on buy pressure at 2 and I lose that one. I'm most likely, I'm kind of antsy there. SPU's still at value. Make a note, I
Order
want to
placed.
reassess my trades before I enter them
Order
rather than
placed.
just hitting the scratch over and
Order
over again
placed.
and hoping it works.
Order placed. Order
Because then I'm being
cancelled.
taken advantage of from real traders who are making
Order
educated
placed.
decisions.
Order placed. Order placed.
The
Order
ask is
cancelled.
holding zeros in the
Order
in the
cancelled.
low
Order
volume node. I
placed.
catch two scratches and I chase. And then the ask stops at 2. There's
Order
initiative
cancelled.
asking, selling. At 2, we're down to 3. I get out for a scratch because 3
Order
holds from
placed. Order
buyers. So
cancelled.
they're forming a distribution, short-term phantom distribution from 3 to 1.
Order cancelled.
Um, and tape kind of slows down, but that's mainly from the strong bid queue that's pushing out from 3.
Order placed. Order
I'm going to try to
placed.
play zeros again because it's the edge of a low
Order
volume node.
placed.
When we get
Order
into that
placed.
LVN, it's going to be like unidirectional most likely, unless tape
Order
slows
placed.
down and you see a move in the opposite direction. So
Order
I'm really
cancelled.
playing short
Order
ones
placed.
with the stop
Order
at
cancelled.
zeros as a last Hail Mary ditch effort before there's a bull market.
Order placed.
And if SPU's offers higher, they're going to run with correlations. I get long here at 1 because between 2
Order
and
placed.
0,
Order
it's
placed.
just hanging there. And this should be a smackdown
Order
according to
placed.
grading most likely. I get out for a break even because
Order
we're at a
placed.
low volume node. So you're sitting right next to
Order
a low volume
placed.
node and the flow
Order
is
placed.
relatively equal. There isn't much to trade imbalance wise uh, if
Order
you were to fade
placed.
buyers.
Order cancelled.
And it's just sitting there. I take a couple scratches.
Order placed.
Notice how yesterday I was talking about losing immediately and I come in here and I lose like $400 immediately.
Order placed. Order cancelled. Order placed. Order placed. Order placed. Order placed. Order placed. Order
Scratch
cancelled.
here. Still defending twos. SPU's still higher. Tape is equal, so they're forming an auction on the market on the prints.
Order placed. Order placed. Order placed. Order cancelled. Order placed. Order placed. Order placed. Order cancelled.
I get long on breakout 0, but it's an early long and I pay for it. I lose the long here. Buyers stack aggressively at 0.
Order cancelled.
2 is the shelling point for the phantom auction.
Order placed.
Along at 1 I
Order
take. It's
placed.
interesting. I'm looking for the floor to hold, but more so. The floor begins to crack at 2,
Order placed.
and then I get out. I press the wrong button. Or it may have been a short. I think it was a short, yeah. So I ignored the phantom auction. It's different when you're trading, you use different parts of your brain. So I'll cut myself some slack there. There's no point in punishing myself on saying, wow, you need to do better because the brain works better if you say, that's okay, try
Order
again, rather
cancelled.
than, I can't believe you did that. That's horrible. I'm short. We're still in this low volume auction. Spoos is offering higher.
Order
I want
placed.
to take this as momentum and go, finally it's gonna crack.
Order cancelled.
But and they actually hit out twos from strong sell pressure. The ask spoofs, and it doesn't move lower, and we're back in ones. So really, really, the trade that could have been taken there was a short into twos, which is what I did, and then an immediate flip
Order
long.
placed.
Though twos eventually crack, and we're
Order
back in the
placed.
HVN now, and I'm trying to
Order
play
placed.
momentum.
Order placed. Order cancelled.
Let me make sure this has to be all the way down. You can hear me, right? Always on. Ooh. I'm gonna put this here. Okay. I get long twos in hindsight on the excess and the auction still being there. Spoos is offering higher. My stops in and we see strong pressure from the bid and it lifts the offer. Okay, we're at a breakout now. Our long eights. We're in the low volume node. I'm just looking to take trades that go up and up and up and up and up. Also, make note of the jigsaw post only orders that I want to integrate because I'll try to front run a tick sometimes when I think I know where it's going and it'll just bomb me out because I can't get a post only in. I think that's what it's called, post only. I might be wrong. Like if price is at 8, if I want to bid and if I want to bid and the if I want to bid and the queue's at 8, if I want to bid 7 and the queue's at 8 and 7's above 8, I have to wait until they stuff the queue. And if they stuff it aggressively or they flip the tick, I don't get a fill. So I want to be first in my fake queue, if that makes sense. I'm long 5s. Spoos is offering lower even though it hit the node now. So I get out for a scratch, which is good. That's a good trade. I agree with it because the tape slowed down. Even though even though she's got from 9 to 2 this big long low volume node, this thin spot, um, the fact that there's no momentum, order flow matters at the end of the day, and they're really playing patty cake here, but the market uh, orders are equal, so there's nobody to fade. Now there's 246 and 154 on the market orders. I get out for a scratch. I was short 4. A turn in the favor of sellers now. Big stack on size at 4. It wasn't a spoof, or if it was, they didn't lift it when buyers tried the test. I'm chasing momentum here short back into the end of the distribution because we're in the low volume node. Momentum is gone here from tape wise, and so I lose the trade. I was going to say, but look at the profile, but momentum was gone, right? So, the flow has to come before the areas of the profile, and the flow will confirm, if the area is in play. Ultimately, that's what matters, and it wasn't in play. So I took a punt off the profile, and I'm not trading dynamically here when I did that. I think I got I got short fives. Now the node is thickening out here. There's a phantom ceiling at a 4, just where price was. SPOOS ended its rally at 5 in the low volume node, and we're sitting above value now, between 9 and 6 on the SPOOS. I'm short 6 here. And the ask can't stuff, so it would be a good place to scratch. That makes me so angry that I lost today. I'm so mad. God have mercy on me. I win that trade. The ask stuffs. Bids holding 7. We're doing another phantom auction here between 7 and 4. I don't care enough about my trades, and I think it's cool. I can put on as much size as possible, but in reality it matters. Losing trades, it matters tremendously, and it's so irritating. So I want the nuance, and I'm going to find the nuance of making educated decisions and taking risk, and not also being afraid of size, because before I was afraid, and now I'm like, hit everything because I can scratch, but it didn't work today and I lost money. So, and I'm also not going to change too much because a lot of it relies on intuition. So I'm just going to push. I know I'm going to make money every day. I'm going to find a way to. I know I am. Okay, Spoos is thickening out this node. It's forming its own auction irrespective of the previous profile. So equilibrium's there. I'm long 5. The ask lightens up the moment I put my trade on. A couple seconds after they spoof, it goes from 170 to 100. But the bid doesn't want to stuff. It's just sitting at 50 now. And then the ask aggressively stacks. It spoofs to 240. I take a scratch and flip short off of that. And then initiative selling hits aggressively. So that was a correct read and flip. I'm watching 7 now to see it dry up. If SPOOS starts to move, it'll be too late and I'll lose the trade. I'm long 6. Still that lack of initiative buying from the bid, and then the bid begins to lighten up and reward the ask, initiative selling from the ask. They push it lower and I lose the trade. But there's still that low tape absorption pattern on inside prints, like 79 and 9 at 7 and 8. After I get stopped out, make note of that. I should most likely wait for those if I'm trading phantom auctions. If you're trading phantom, so I'll say it, if you're trading phantom auctions, wait till there's excess, because that's exactly what it was. It was excess on the inside prints. Then we rally in the opposite direction. For 2-3 ticks of initiative buying as buyers take over the market, and then sellers hit it again lower. Now the high of the auction used to be at 4. SPOOS is offering lower now, and sellers are dynamically adjusting to push the auction lower as well. And I'm chasing momentum here now. because I noticed that sellers are really hitting it. Also, good on me, just to make a note of positive improvement as I went about 10-15 seconds there without placing a trade. And then I told you they were offering lower now. SPOOS is still at 6 and 9 from a value perspective, but we're back at 4 now. Initiative buying appears to be drying up. I get short fives. They stuff the queue aggressively, so the fast turn in momentum I was looking for and talking about the order that would let me front run the queue, I miss out on it because I don't have it. And then we're back in this phantom auction, 7 and 8s, kind of looking for excess. I said excess, but I'll also take a slow of momentum and some initiative to get short. Also make note of always covering your downside risk even if the trade is good and you get shaken out. I get shaken out 1,000 times because it's mathematically correct to get shaken out 1,000 times. If I take 1,000 scratches, eventually one's going to turn in my favor on fast momentum. So I'm limiting my profits to aggressive and fast momentum, but I'm attempting to drastically minimize my downside, which is the most opportune strategy when it comes to taking risk. There are two types of losing money in the market. One is missing opportunity and missing profits, and one is losing money, but one is much more damaging than the other. So always focus on the damaging part. I'm short fives, phantom auction. Really taking this, I might even call it a 5 out of 10. Really taking this trade because I have the opportunity to scratch and the phantom walls at 4. Phantom ceiling. Now the ask starts to lift, so I said that, like, oh, I can scratch, but the queue slowly empties as slow initiative buying reprices and closes out the 4s. Eventually I get lucky because an ask spoofs aggressively back when the queue gets down to like 60 up to 160 and it scares the buyers off. Make note of that. That's an indication that, especially because the tape was slow on the bid, that's most likely an indication that they were weak in that area. So the person who was bluffing there, it worked. Nothing from the inside prints on the tape, it's the same. Also, don't put this in the transcript, but when I talk to you, tell me about what the majority of the flow is in the NASDAQ if you can. Are people executing with limit orders? I assume so, most likely algorithms. It looks like the tape, whatever you call it, cumulative volume delta or the market order prints matter much less in the NASDAQ than they do the SPOOs because all the flow is algorithmic. I'm short fives again looking for initiative. I let the queue empty out on the ask side. I'm trying to give them a foot. I think I put in my scratch here. I don't put in the scratch here. I actually watch the tape empty on both sides and buyers stack, and I miss my opportunity to scratch. Make note of that. The timestamp is 2018. I could have scratched there because there was no initiative buying on the 5. Even though my way of interpreting initiative buying is kind of junky, there was no initiative buying on the 5, and I lied to myself and said give the trade some time to breathe when in reality there wasn't momentum. So I have to know what I'm looking for before I get in. For example, some trades I'll mainly regarding the queue at my stop loss, I'm like, if that holds, we're good to go. If it starts to lift, I'm going to try to scratch. There was just no follow through there, and I didn't know what I wanted. And so it turned into a gamble, and I lost. We have excess at threes now. We're above the ceiling. Spoos is at value. I'm hesitant because, you know what? The bid dries up here, and then it stacks again. It's slower now because it's later in the session. I'm looking for a short fade because I'm not reading the tape. It's uh like it's a cognitive dissonance. What I'm doing is I'm just like, well, it'll maybe probably go instead of reading the flow. So I get short there at three, and then buyers hit again. I'm not seeing the pressure I wanted from the ask, even though it stacks. And then I get long, and immediately uh, Addis bugs out. I get long, and the Nasdaq, even though it spoos at value, immediately loses. Um, I'm offside 300. I'm offside maybe $700 right now because my stop order was never put in. The Nasdaq moved too fast, which is hilarious to think about. No news event, I don't think. Just the Nasdaq. That doesn't bother me at all. I'm just trying to manage the trade and coming to grips with my own hopes and dreams. Like maybe it'll come back here. I'm trying to take a scratch, and then I pull the order and I set a break even at a three. And then I realize like the more time I watch this trade, the less time I have to put on trades and make money or learn how to trade. I should really just take my loss, even if it's 2 ticks. Um, so we're making markets now, and my entry for long is horrible. It was a breakout that immediately got smacked down from makers, and so I'm still offside 2 ticks. It's probably the worst trade of the day, and it can really show you how unforgiving the Nasdaq can be, I believe. I eventually, when I realize that, I'm like, what am I doing? I can't scalp if I'm position holding negative 700, negative $600. Do you know what I mean? Or 624, 640, negative $640, 740. I can't position trade if I'm going to do that. So I scratch out. I know the right decision is next time that happens is to hit the flat key and just get out because I'll lose it all if that happens, or I'll blow a couple accounts doing that, which isn't the worst thing. For my own discipline, I'd prefer to read the flow and the flat key. We're in an LVN at 7 now. I'm playing XS. I'm long. I should take a scratch here because the tape is acting up. No initiative buying. And then I wait for sellers to plunge at 7. So that was the incorrect decision to make. We're offering lower at 7. We're asking 7s now in the low volume node. Spoos is offering lower as well. I'm looking for momentum play here. Not really a momentum play, but more like a value area play because the tape isn't confirming my bias. I'm short 8s. Speed of tape picks up, so this is a good trade. They absorb at 9. The node is also small. It's only 9, 0, and 8, and 7. I give it some leg room, and the askers finally follow through and hit it, and I win that trade. I'm long nines here on that phantom auction, and they're really not letting me out. Spoos is shifting lower. I got long nines because the shelling point at 0 is a thick spot. I got out for a 0, and also my stop loss broke. It just stopped being there, but that's okay. I'm trying to trade a post-only momentum. Post-only meaning I'd have to front run the orders. Tape dries up here. I get long twos after momentum slows. Spoos is still offering lower though, and I'm not taking a scratch here because price moved down 3 ticks and now it's not moving down 3 ticks. And so that leads me to believe that there could be a reversal here at the expense of everybody who pushed price down 3 ticks, because at the end of a unidirectional move or consensus for a unidirectional move, the incentive to defect becomes higher than the incentive to continue to go, becomes higher than the incentive to participate, which is game theory. And then as people defect, the move ends and reverses partially at the expense of those who are still in. The late buyers are trapped. So that's a psychological example. I'm still long twos of this trade. That's why I got in. Wasn't really watching the flow. Now I am. I get out for a scratch because it took a long time to slow up. And there's still no initiative buying. And so this will come with experience timing the market, but it really, really slows up, and initiative buyers can't hit in. And I think I take a loss as the speed of tape increases. Spoos is also hitting the low side of its value area now. I'm chasing momentum here. I'm short for ask is pushing. Speed of tape increases, but a lot of it looks to be passively absorbed. I get out for a scratch by buyers, even though there's no initiative buying. There was a lot of pressure from sellers here at 3, and they couldn't hit it. I get long 4s, which is VPOC. That's fine because I'm playing this the increase in speed of tape and the lack of movement and the pressure from sellers leads me to believe that there's a long opportunity here. And so I don't want to scratch the trade. And I eventually win that one. So it was kind of hairily managed, and then buyers aggressively rally, but I don't have time to get in, and neither did I anticipate it because I don't have enough experience yet. So I think I scratched, well, I lost one. I scratched 2, 3, lost one, and made one there. So like more aggressive and obnoxious break even, which is what I've been for a while, and I hate doing that, and I don't want to do it anymore. It's so angering. It's so infuriating. Short zeros. Spoo's still at value. NQ is diverging. That's the incentive. Ask stacks at 9. Low volume node at 9. I scratch. Short zeros again. Scratch again. Heavy bid queue. Really thick bid at 1, 226. Ask starts to lift at 9. It lifts temporarily, then stacks to 160. Then it lowers again on low volume. I don't know why I put that order in at 0, like this ham-handed long, because value is holding. If they fill me, momentum's going to decrease. The ask is in bad shape, but there's still that lack of, we puked 2 ticks from 1 to 3 or 1 to 2 when coming down. Buyers slowly rallied it at 4, and then it puked 2 ticks back up at 3 to 2, right? That tells me they don't want to provide liquidity there for whatever reason. But now we have that same, what looks like seller aggression, and really slow buyers, and they eventually run out here at 0, and standard mean reversion begins to take place. So I'm short 0, but that slow ask shows up again, and I lose. And then we have excess. So part of me is harebrained. I put in an order, maybe I can chase the excess sort of thing. Tape is slowing up now. I'm watching the bid. They lift it. We're in the node. Correlation's in the back of my head, but she's rallying. And then speed of tape really increases. So they pulled it all the way through the node, the bid. And they're at the Schelling point now, which is 6. So if there's a place to short, it would be here. Yeah. I was gonna say maybe 5s, upper higher, but if there's a place to short, it would be here, especially because it slows up. That's a really good reversal momentum trade at a Schelling point. I'm really proud of that trade. My stops in it's a great trade, and I agree with it. I'm happy that at least I threw that one on, and I also waited because there's infinite amounts of opportunities, but you know, take everything. I don't have the experience, and I lose money. That's not okay, and it's not okay. I'm so angry. I get out for a scratch. She slows up on the ask. I try the ask again, and I got short and won that one. Now there's sell pressure and I'm playing momentum, but I end up being a late short because I went short at 9 and the Schelling point is 0 at the end of the distribution. I lose that trade and I give money back. So I'm chasing instead of anticipating. Make note of that. Write that down. Anticipate instead of chase. Sometimes I get sucked into price and momentum and think there's money there instead of placing good trades, and I don't think you can have both. So buyers are pushing now back into the node. It looks like the momentum is much slower this time though, and the ask is winning. So I'm going to try to chase a short here, but that really depends on flow. I was wrong. Buyers still do that slow push up into the node. It's 7 and 8 now. Short 7. Some good initiative pressure from askers, though it fails and I get out for a scratch. I get long here, which I disagree with because it was a late long again. So I took a late short and a late long, and I ended up paying for it. I just gave money back, and then I blew the account out right there. So it was a series of bad trades. I'm gonna have to re-review this, I think.